Guys, this is Blowjos, and today I'm going to be doing for you a review of the Marvel Select Rhino figure. Now, before I start reviewing this figure, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my main guys here. His name is thegeekyhero. He did a review of this Rhino the other day and sent me the link, and yeah, his review was good enough that it convinced me to buy this guy. But that being said, let's get right on into this review. I'll post a link to his channel just below here in the description. As you guys may notice, I am recording with my camera phone. You'll have to forgive that. My wife and I just moved. We don't quite have internet yet, so I will be uploading it with this video, or with this phone. So, alright, let's get into this review. Try to hold it as steady as possible. Same basic Marvel Select packaging. On the side here you got a nice picture of Rhino, so it'll look good for you guys who keep these guys in the box. And here's a picture of the Rhino himself and an ad for Nightcrawler and Storm. On the side here it says, Alexei Saitsevich was just a low-level thug when he was offered enhanced strength, speed, stamina, and the near-indestructible Rhino armor by enemies of the United States. His attempts to capture military and scientific secrets for his masters put him into direct conflict with the Hulk and Spider-Man, and he would repeatedly clash with both heroes over the years. In that time, he has upgraded his suit numerous times, boosted his strength with gamma radiation, and even teamed up with other supervillains as part of the Emissaries of Evil, the Sinister Six, and the Sinister Syndicate. Despite a short period where he gave up crime, assisting the Punisher and even stopping the new Rhino, Saitsevich still holds a grudge against Spider-Man and seems to have returned to his felonious ways. So, yeah, just basic Diamond Select packaging. Not too good that you can't throw it out, though. So, done, and done. So, without further ado, as you can see, here's one of my moving boxes. Here is Rhino. And right away, guys, right out of the packaging, this guy is awesome. He's got great painted detail, as you can see here. Great cracks and crumbles in his skin. He looks awesome. You can even, this lighting isn't the greatest, but you can even see some of the shading there that they've done. A little bit of a light brown wash over the skin to make it look awesome. And as you can see, I've already got him posed on one foot in a charging pose. And that was right out of the box. I just slapped him in that pose. So, great figure. I'm digging him a lot. For first impression, I'm going to give this guy a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, this figure is amazing. Once you get into him a little bit, though, he does have a few drawbacks. For instance, the articulation isn't that great. Now, what's there is pretty good. He has an interesting ball-jointed neck here. It's the joint is actually in the chest, and it actually moves forward and back, and you can get him to. Sorry, this diaphragm joint has a lot of motion, and unfortunately, I'm doing this with one hand. But the neck moves side to side as well as front and back. Now, for charging poses, the neck actually doesn't move much further back than this, but the diaphragm kind of makes up for it. It does have a pretty decent range of motion. Not a lot of front and back, but side to side is really, really decent. He's got the same ball-jointed shoulders as the original Marvel Select Hulk, as well as the new Barbarian Hulk, which is to say it goes out a decent amount, but there is no bicep swivel. So he's kind of left with just that ball joint, but then you come down to the elbow and he's got a swivel pivot, as well as a nice bend there. It's got swivels at the wrist, and that diaphragm joint that I mentioned already. Now his legs are similar to the Iron Man that I reviewed recently. When they swivel, they kind of swivel at an angle, but they do have a decent range of motion, and he's got those same swivel knees as the elbows, but they're not as, the range isn't as good. And the feet are the same as the most recent movie Hulk in the way that they, you get decent range of forward and back movement, but then it also has a nice swivel, so they'll be flat on the floor in whatever pose you put them in, or pretty well any pose you put them in. So I'm going to see if I can straighten the legs here. While, here, pardon me guys, I'm going to set down the camera for just a second. Alright. Legs mostly straightened. Pretty well as tall as he's going to be. I'm going to give you a size comparison real quick. Here he is next to the Future Foundation Spider-Man, because unfortunately that's the only Spider-Man I have. But that is a Marvel Legends, and as you can see, he's enormous compared to the Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Now I'll move him over a bit here. And here he is next to the previously mentioned Avengers Hulk. So as you can see, not quite as tall as the Hulk, but pretty dang tall. He's a decent size though. Like if you get a bigger Spider-Man, like one of the Marvel Select Spider-Men, whether you pick the Amazing Spider-Man or whoever, he will fit in because those Spider-Men are about 7 inches tall, and this Spider-Man is built on the, the bullseye body, so he is fairly short. But this is a pretty decent figure. Price-wise, he ran me, he was $24.95 before taxes, so he ran up to about 27 bucks. Was he worth it? Totally. For me personally, anyway, I had the original Spider-Man series Rhino, and this guy is very reminiscent of that. He's got decent articulation, and he's really heavy. Like, this is solid plastic. I think the only part that's hollow in him is this part of the chest, and then everything else is injection molded. It is a very heavy figure. And I say you can find him pretty much anywhere for about 20 bucks, 22 bucks. But I say he's worth it even up to the $25 price tag. Decent articulation, enough so that you can get him into a charging pose like I had him at the beginning of the review there. And he does look nice and stocky like the Rhino should. Great paint apps. The face is fairly well done. Here, let's see if I can get in there and get it not to be blurry. There we go. Face is pretty decent. His eyes are a little far apart, but I think he looks pretty good. I recommend this guy pretty solidly. I give him a good, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. This is one of the more impressive Marvel Selects that I've picked up, and I've picked up quite a few Marvel Selects. He's better than the Juggernaut in my opinion, but only because he's got the nice rocker joint feet and great paint apps. You can find this guy at your local comic book shop, like I said earlier, for about 22 to 25 bucks, anywhere in there, and he's a really great figure for your money. And again, if you don't like this review, go check out the Geeky Heroes review. I'll post a link in the bottom. But also check him out if you did like this review. He did a great job looking at the figure, and he's a great guy. So please rate, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Talk to you later. This is Blojo signing out.